everybody. Good morning. I just felt so compelled to share the word this morning, based on what I'm seeing, what how I've experienced God. I'm away. Me and my family, the last 2 years have just been going, so we've been physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted, and for the longest time I've wanted to go away. I love the coast. I love the beach, love the ocean, and we were blessed by God, of course, because He is the bestower of blessings, and He made it possible that we are here. And because He is God, it had to be in an impossible way, and we were so blessed to be given a free vacation to such an amazing and remarkable location. And of course, it's only done because He wants to glorify Himself, and He wants us to testify about how amazing and how great He is. And I'm sitting here doing that. I'm sitting here, it's early in the morning, around 6 o'clock, and I just want to testify of Him. But even more so, I just want to talk about how great He is, and I think that's why I have such a liking for the beach, because it's one of the places for me personally that just shows how majestic, how mighty, how awesome a God He is. It just baffles me that people ask themselves or are convinced that there is no God, but you can't look at all of this and assume it just happened to be here, and assume it's just not personal. It's a cosmic, impersonal thing that happened, and bam, the oceans know to recede at the perfect time, at the perfect place. That sand belongs on the beach. Like the sun rising when it does how it does. You can't explain this. And that's what I love about God so much. That's what I love about Christ, is that He is inexplainable. I want to worship a God that is inexplainable, because a God that I can explain or understand is a God that I can form. A God that I can conform to my own likes. When I feel happy, to my own dislikes. When I'm sad, I can mold that kind of God. It's a moldable God because I can fathom Him. Right? But an incomprehensible God is something beyond my understanding, beyond my reasoning capabilities, beyond my scope. So I could never even begin to understand how a God like that operates. And that's the kind of God I want working in my life. That's the kind of God I want to live for, because He clearly knows something that I don't. He clearly knows something that I don't, and what He knows is something that I need, because I've exhausted all of my means. If I'm sitting in a place of unhappiness and anxiety and fear, I've exhausted all my means because I have no backup plan. But this God is fathomless. He's expansive. He's beyond anything. A God that has created the oceans that go on, that are endless. The very same God who created the skies, space, the universe, that no scientist can tell you how many galaxies. There are billions. Stars can't be counted. That God, that very God, is the same God in the Bible who tells us that He created everything. And very specifically, I know that there is conversation he has even with Job, you know, and the fact that he even has conversations speaks to the mercy of him. A God this big, a God this inexplainable doesn't need to explain himself to anybody. The fact that he's able to reason with so many of his children, you know, biblically, but even us today on a daily basis. The fact that we are all still living and have not been smited, you know, like in the Avengers, how Thanos just clicks a finger and the whole world, or half the population anyway, is gone. That's the kind of God people would expect, you know. A tyrannical God who calls the shot. That's the type of gods really that have been in power in terms of dynasties and kings and presidents even. Gods and kings and rulers who rule with iron fists, you know, who want people to know that they are under their thumb. No, not my God. Not the God of the universe. Not that one. The fact that he can even have conversations with his creation speaks to that. And he's telling Job, you know, because Job, of course, if you know the story very well, was afflicted not because he did anything wrong, but because God wanted to show the enemy that he is faithful through and through, regardless of what happens to him. You know, and it's such a beautiful message, because often Christians think that in order to be happy, you need to be blessed, and blessings look like prosperity, you know, and materials and happiness and good life and health. But God was trying to prove something here with Job, because God focuses on intention and he focuses on heart, right? So do you still choose to love him even without those nice things? He gave them to you because he loves you, but let's just say they were taken away, would you still love him? And I think that's a valid question to ask anybody. I think we all generally want people to love us genuinely and not for the things that we give them. You know, that's an honest relationship, and he proved that with Job, because Job still did. And I mean terrible things. Half the stuff that happened to Job, we wouldn't survive. Terrible things happened to him, and he still said, God is God, right? And he was having a debate with them and asking him, who do you think did this? You think man can do this? You think man can separate the ocean? You know, make sure that the sea recedes back. How is that possible? How can the sea just not keep coming and coming? How does it know to go back? Because a command was spoken to it. God spoke to it to say, this is where you end. This is where you end. You don't go any further. For those of you who are interested, read the book of Job, and just like really, that's really where personally I came to the understanding that, oh, the God of the Bible really runs the whole show, because he is very specific in what he says he created, how he created it, what he did, how he made it. It's all there, you know. Romans as well, there's a book in Romans that says we have no excuse, none, because the proof is all around us. There's no excuse, it's all here. You can't say that there's no God when you see it every day. How can you say that? And I mean, not everybody stays at the coast, yes, but you have birds, you have animals. You know, the mystery of how animals know what to do is astounding. People call it instinct, but it's more than that. My sister was telling me about an eagle the other day, how an eagle teaches its bird how to fly. And what it does is it chips away at the nest. It starts peeling off at the nest bit by bit until there's no nest left. And what happens? The bird obviously will fall and is forced to fly. And that speaks to intention. That speaks to love and nurture, because you would think a bird would just throw its baby out and, you know, hope for the best. No, bit by bit it chips away at the nest. And I mean, you can only imagine how long that takes until it actually gets used to the idea of falling and flying. That's intent. That's not instinct. That speaks to emotion, personality. That speaks to a mind. That speaks to wisdom. The creative purposes of that is wisdom. It's not chance. It's not evolution. It's not explosion. That's intent. And that's God. That's the mind of God. So I just wanted to share that reality, you know, with a lot of us. We take for granted creation. I mean, a human being is the biggest testimony of God's creation. Just look at yourself in the mirror every day and try and comprehend how you will form, you know, how a baby comes to be. That is out of this world. So I just wanted to remind you of the fact that there is a very real God, and He's all around us. He's in everything. Just in case you forget one day, as we are prone to do, He is very real. And He loves moments of glory. He loves moments where we worship Him and we recognize Him in everything, because He is in everything. Whether you admit it, He's just waiting for you to catch up to it and catch up to Him. It's a beautiful experience when you do.